So as I call your name, if you could just please stand and be recognized. We've got Interim President Tyler Sajan, Jim Evans, Courtney Eastman, Bart Rozier, Joe Koshin, Matt McCullough, Jim Tedder, and Christine Farrell. So if you all could just stand, please, be recognized. Thank you. And of course, this wouldn't be possible without the support of Ann Mosier, Heidi McLean, and Nancy Mahoney, who also sit with us in our board meetings every single month. So thank you to the three of you as well. So I've been on the foundation board for the last 3 years, and in the 3 years I've had, in my opinion, the best job, and that's to do the Teacher of the Year Committee recognition event. I want to take a moment to thank the LaFontaine Automotive Group, who's up here at front with us, and hopefully you saw 4 pretty awesome cars sitting out front that they brought up here today. But just want to thank the LaFontaine family and the Automotive Group for their generous support of this event. This wouldn't be possible without each and every single one of you and what you do to give back to the community and to our families and to our educators. So I want to say thank you to all of you. We've got Kelly LaFontaine here, Carol Peters, Savannah Hinsberger, Paul Jordan, and Andrew Ruck up in the front here. So thank you all for being here. So let's get on to the program. To the podium, I want to first bring up here our 2022 Teacher of the Year, who has one of our support dogs as well, sponsored by LaFontaine. But our 2022 Teacher of the Year, Miss Allison Stoyak, to say a few words to the group here. I should say Allison and Vinny.
As I reflect on this year, I still feel extremely humbled to be thought in. Sorry, Vinny, come here. He's very excited to see Nori. They would not. Stay. Okay. As I reflect on this year, I still feel extremely humbled that I was thought in such high regard for my community. Last year at this time, I was pregnant, sick with COVID, taking care of a baby who was also sick with COVID, and I was here on the screen. I actually ended up in the ER that night, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like what just happened? I won a car, and now I'm in the ER with COVID. It was so surreal. As educators, we never do our job for accolades or praise. And as I see my colleagues here, I know they do this job for the same reason I do this job. We just love kids. The role of educators has evolved over the years, and it seems that every year we are met with new challenges and different sacrifices that need to be made. This may mean waking up in the night, worrying about if your student was given a good dinner or tucked in by a loving parent. This may mean using your own money to provide your students with toiletries or snacks or supplies. This may mean not getting to the paperwork part of your job until the wee hours of the morning, or answering phone calls from worried parents during your own family dinner time, or not having patience for your own children because you just use it all up during the school day. It could mean that you are not only someone's teacher, but their caregiver, therapist, nurse, or advocate. I don't say these things because people should feel bad for teachers. We all chose this profession. These sacrifices represent the love of our kids that is just built into our hearts. I also know that we can only be as good as the support system around us. From administration to board to community members, we are surrounded by the best of the best in Clarkston. I want to thank the Clarkston Foundation and LaFontaine from the bottom of my heart for choosing me to be your 2022 Teacher of the Year. Your unwavering support of Clarkston schools does not go unnoticed. Good luck to the nominees today, and I hope you soak in this moment and let yourselves feel the love your community has for you.
Thank you, Allison. I think last year when we announced that you were the winner, I think you were carrying to your child, and you're like, so what happened? Who won? Right? And she was on a laptop up front. I think we put a laptop on one of these chairs with your video on it. But congratulations again. Happy that you're here with us today. So this year's Teacher of the Year process was focused on our early childhood center and our elementary schools. We were fortunate enough this year to have 16 educators recognized by peers, parents, and community members. I'd like to recognize our Teacher of the Year committee members, some who were not able to attend today, but fellow board members Joe Koshin and Tyler Sajan, and community members Sarah McCullough and Ann Evans for helping out, for those that are here. So through this process, when we got 16 nominations, we thought, wow, how are we going to break this down? So we diligently went through every single nomination, and we identified 10 finalists. And from those 10 finalists, we brought all 10 in to interview for about 30 to 45 minutes, just to get an understanding of their technique, their style, and really what makes them unique and what makes them special. And through this process, the committee learned a couple things. One, we are truly blessed and honored to be living in a school district that has just such incredible talent across the board, and educators that have a passion for what they do every single day. I work for a financial institution, and one of the things I always preach is you can't teach passion. And the educators that we met with and that we reviewed truly have passion for what they do every single day. Number two, the folks that we did talk to and read through, this was something that they wanted. This was a career. This was something that they dreamed to become an educator, and they followed that dream. And many of them at a very young age, as early as 4 years old. They knew it when they met with their first preschool or kindergarten teacher. So really special. And then the third thing we learned, it's really, really hard to get educators to talk about themselves. Literally every single one of them said, I don't know what I can say that separates me from this list. The folks that you have are an incredible group, and I'm just honored and fortunate to be on that list with these other educators. So getting them to share, so what makes you different? What makes you unique? It's really tough to pull that out of them. But I think for every single one of them, the thing that makes them special, unique, is it's natural to them, right? It's very natural to them, and I think that's what makes a great educator, in my opinion. So this year's nomination process was the biggest group we've ever had the pleasure of reviewing and interviewing, at least in my 3 years sitting on the board here. And it's no surprise everyone just loves their elementary teacher. And I can say the same for me and the 6 I had from kindergarten through 5th grade when I went through Clarkston Elementary. So at this time, I want to welcome up to the podium our Superintendent of Clarkston Schools, Dr. Sean Ryan.
Thank you. Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be with you this fine afternoon, and I get to do a couple introductions on behalf of the school district to get us rolling here. First of all, we have a couple of our school board members that could be in attendance, and I want to recognize them individually. One is Kelly Horse, our board president, way over there. Cheryl McGinnis, senior out in the crowd in the back corner. And Amanda Love right here up towards the front. Also want to look at, if you look around this room, how it's decorated and the environment that we have today to celebrate. I just can't say enough about the whole process and support that Heidi McLean literally had me carting tablecloths across the community yesterday to help get this ready, but she is like a force of nature and makes these days possible. So for Heidi McLean, thank you. And it's my pleasure. I get to say a couple words. And Nancy Mahoney, my right-hand woman as our assistant superintendent of Clarkston Schools, said, make it long so I can just be really quick and we can move on. Not shy, I'm going to keep it relatively short because we're here to celebrate our elementary teachers. But I wanted to kind of put together a picture for you, at least this red thread that we had go through our year this year in Clarkston Schools, which a question we ask each other when we come to meetings, we try to start on a positive. We ask what's going well. And it sounds like a simple question, but it has really deep meaning, because if you look at what I see in the crowd here, and literally standing room only, what's going well in Clarkston is, number one, our community. And I have to recognize not only La Fontaine coming here, our Clarkston Foundation, and the support they provide our staff, our teachers, and our children here in Clarkston. Now that I got the reading part, I can take off the glasses, but looking at what the community brings, and when people come to Clarkston, like I did some 27 odd years ago, it adopts you as much as you adopt it. I'd like to say that I came and I thought, yep, coming to Clarkston and that was going to be it. It doesn't work like that. Clarkston has a way of putting its arms around you and its children, and it never lets go. And it's kind of an amazing, special part. And when you see a community that rises up to make sure it recognizes some of the absolute most important people that we have in our community, our teachers, that's a community that I want to be part of. And they don't stop there. Our foundation supports scholarships and all sorts of recognition and opportunities for the children within Clarkston. And that is not unseen or unappreciated. It makes the difference. Knowing that we have a community behind us helps us come to work into classrooms every single day and make that difference. Because the educators that you see here today, and you heard some good adjectives describing how they bring it every day, that passion, how you can't teach passion. Well, I'd go a step further looking at, really at the essence of what our teachers do every single day. It is 100% focused on the children. And I'm just going to say it again, focused on the children. They come here because they care. And it's much more than just the idea that they're providing the reading, the math, the social studies education as students go through our 13 years of formal and many other years of education here in Clarkston. It goes way further than that. You have to understand they're helping build young people. They're helping form minds and spirits as our children come across every grade level. They're cared about by the people that you see in this room. And you can't put a dollar amount on that. You can't put an emphasis on it. But when you have that type of staff where the relationships become the core of what they bring every single day, it gives me goosebumps. Because when you walk into one of our classrooms, as I'm sure some of our evaluators did as part of the Clarkston Foundation, more than teaching reading, you see them literally wiping noses and giving hugs. Children are loved here. And by the educators in this room, they are examples to all of our educators and our community of what is possible. And I can't go a day to think that all the different roles over the 27 years I had in Clarkston, I literally, as a guest teacher, helped clean the floors in the summer, assistant principal, assistant superintendent, now as superintendent. The most important role that I've seen across and had an opportunity to be a part of is our teachers. The impact that they have every single day. And to see how they have built community that when we cross stage at Pine Knob on Tuesday night, and you unfortunately don't get the same vantage point that I do, which is the front row seat on the stage, and I see that sense of pride and accomplishment as our students are really looking at their experiences here in Clarkston with the teachers that we have in this room as a beginning and not an end. I couldn't be more proud. So I just want to say thank you for all of our nominees, everybody that could be here today to make this possible, and really the power of recognizing the people who make such an amazing difference in the lives of kids in our community. So thank you. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Nancy Mahoney, Assistant Superintendent of Clarkston Community Schools.
Thank you, Sean, and I wish every one of you could stand up here and just take a peek at what I see here. It's actually quite beautiful that it's standing room only, and we're here to celebrate what I believe is the greatest profession there is, and that is teaching. And I feel so fortunate in my career as an educator because, as Matt said, I lived at the high school for so many years, but I was fortunate enough to live in the elementary world for just 4 years. But those 4 years were a lot of wows, because I truly got to experience the life of elementary. And so not only are we celebrating teaching, but we are celebrating elementary teaching. And it carries a great load. And I witnessed it, and I'm so glad that I was able to experience it and lead elementary because there's so much that happens with elementary teachers. And this is for every nominee here. I think sometimes it's hard for you to look in the mirror and what you see back is excellence in all that you do and all that you give. And so I found a poem and I tweaked it a little bit, and I thought it was my heart sharing to you as we celebrate you here today. And it says, if I could show you, teacher, I'd show you how much more you have accomplished than you think you have. I'd show you all the seeds you've planted over time that are now coming into bloom. I'd reveal to you the many minds that you have expanded under your care, the hearts that are serving others because they had you as a role model. If I could show you, teacher, I'd show you the positive effect you've had on so many. Your assignment is to know your value in the world, to soak in this very special celebration, to acknowledge it, and to believe it. So I want to thank and congratulate every nominee here today. It's very nice. And I want to thank the finalists, family that is here, and if they're not here, I know that they have supported you, they have guided you, they have witnessed all the hard work, your friends, your colleagues, because I think in reality, you couldn't have done this alone. LaFontaine, your incredible generosity. I'm so excited for the winner because I've never had a heated steering wheel, and I'm so excited to talk to you about that. And Clarkston Foundation, Matt, you're a former student. You are so professional, Matt Evans. You impress me the way you just lead and your thoughtfulness in terms of this whole process. So I'm so proud of you, Matt Evans, and just so glad that we were able to be connected once again. So let's begin. I'd like to invite the finalists up on stage. I'd like you to take a seat up here so that we can all look at you and just embrace you, okay? I'm gonna call you by name. I'll let you come up and then I'm gonna announce your names. Come on up, you beautiful women. I'd like to introduce Mary DeVito, second grade, Andersonville Elementary. Perfect. Lynn Mitchell, kindergarten, Bailey Lake Elementary. Jody Gabbard, first grade, Clarkston Elementary. Angela Surrey, third grade, Clarkston Elementary. Jessica Sorensen, third through fifth grades, Clarkston Virtual. Ann Duffy, first grade, Independence Elementary. Anne Marie Wilson, second grade, North Sashaba Elementary. Mackenzie Chilcote, kindergarten, Pine Knob Elementary. Melissa Chamberlain, kindergarten, Springfield Plains Elementary. Heidi Kroll, fifth grade, Springfield Plains Elementary. We're going to have principals come up and speak on behalf of our finalists so we can get a good flavor of these phenomenal teachers. So I'm going to first invite Kim Fletcher up, Andersonville's principal.
Good afternoon, teachers, families, staff, and friends. It is my pleasure and honor to celebrate Mrs. Mary DeVito. Mary is joined today by her loving family, Heather, Chris, and Vince, Also by many, many staff members from Andersonville and our parent who initiated her nomination. And I know that they are also very proud of her and thrilled for her to receive this recognition. I would also like to celebrate all of the nominees. You are all amazing. You go above and beyond every day for your children, and I honor all of you. On behalf of our administration team and our staff, I also thank the Clarkston Foundation and LaFontaine for providing this opportunity for us to recognize and celebrate these amazing individuals. I am grateful, and we are grateful as a staff to honor all of you. So now it is my pleasure to introduce all of you to Mary and give you a little insight into this amazing individual. As Mary's administrator, I can attest to her natural ability to inspire every adult and student with whom she meets. As a classroom teacher, she creates an environment that promotes a positive culture, a collaborative learning atmosphere, and strong relationships. As a colleague, she provides support and encouragement and is sought out as a leader in many, many areas. Mary is an experienced educator who has served Andersonville in many ways, including first grade teacher, kindergarten teacher for many, many years, second grade teacher, teaching and learning council representative, festival day chair, student council advisor, and Lighthouse team member. She has also served on many district level committees. And though Mary and I have only worked at Andersonville together for the 8 years that I have been there, I have known Mary for a lot longer than that through some district work that I was able to collaborate with her on. She embraces all of her roles with passion and dedication. She has a strong work ethic, but what sets her apart from others is her focus on developing authentic connections with her students and families. She goes above and beyond to make those connections, and these relationships that she makes provide the foundation for a successful educational journey for all of her children. She also develops strong connections with her families. She communicates regularly, not just through the challenging times, but also through the celebrations. She embraces the concept of teaching the whole child. She's a leader when it comes to supporting the social and emotional needs of her children. Her instructional philosophy is centered on embracing thinking and learning and celebrating the growth of the individual. Her positive attitude and open mindset are an essential part of what makes her classroom feel like a family. And I could go on and on about Mary, but I also wanted to share a few words that her colleagues had to share about her, though I will share the rest of them with you personally. So a few words from your colleagues. From someone that worked closely with you for many, many years. Mary fills her classroom with high expectations and a whole lot of love and encouragement. She makes learning so fun that I've seen kids sad when it's time to go home, and that's what I call Mary magic. Another colleague from her kindergarten team. Our school family wouldn't be the same without Mary DeVito. She makes all of our students and staff feel loved, supported, and safe. She's eager to find new, fun, hands-on learning activities, and each year she gives kids unforgettable experiences. She truly deserves this honor. From one of our interventionists, Mary celebrates each child for who they are. She nurtures their self-confidence and love for learning, managing to make each child feel seen, heard, and valued. When you walk into Mary's room, you feel the love that she pours into them. We are all better teachers and people because of Mary. And then I thought, who better to hear from than some children? So we asked some of Mary's current and former students what they would like to share with all of you about Mrs. DeVito. Always best when it comes from the kids. Mrs. DeVito always makes stuff fun, even when it's hard. She helps us learn a lot, and she even makes math fun. I like Mrs. DeVito because when I mess up, she helps me. She helps us with tricky words. We all love Mrs. DeVito. She plays with us at Purposeful Play. She makes us feel like we're the smartest kids. She was like a mother to me. With her focus and development on personal relationships and providing individualized support and love to every child every day, Mary's students thrive. She is an asset to our school and our district. I am honored to learn and grow with her every day. I am a better person for having her in my life. Mary, I honor you and I celebrate you. Again, thank you to the Clarkston Foundation for making this possible, and thank you to Mary's family for sharing her with us and our children.
Next, I'd like to invite Glenn Gualtieri, Bailey Lake Elementary Principal.
Good afternoon. This is an impressive crowd, Nancy. I'm Glenn Gualtieri, and I'm honored to speak of how Lynn Mitchell makes Bailey Lake a better place for her students and staff to learn and grow. Lynn is joined today by her husband, Mark, her daughter, Allison, and Allison's fiance, Kevin, and also Bailey Lake staff members with Bailey Lake's other two nominees. Thanks for coming today. Teaching is a second career for Lynn, one that grew out of passion and a love to connect with students. I actually first met Lynn at parent-teacher conferences, you remember that? When I was her daughter's 6th grade math teacher 20-some years ago. It was obvious then that a strong education was an important and integral part of her own children's development. Lynn began working in Clarkston Schools in 2009 and is in her 10th year in teaching kindergarten at Bailey Lake. She's also taught 1st grade and was a reading interventionist at Andersonville Elementary. Over the years, Lynn has proven her dedication to the teaching profession. Her car is often the first in the parking lot each day as she assures her lesson plans and classroom are prepared for the numerous learning experiences she provides her kindergarten students. Lynn's classroom, if you haven't seen it, is one you won't forget. Her love for the color green, which is totally immersed in green, invites and welcomes students. The lighting, decorations, and arrangement of classroom furniture gives students the feeling of being at home. The feeling of being at home is also created by the relationship that Lynn forges with students and families. She takes time to listen to individual stories and celebrates accomplishments that occur outside of school. The connection she makes extends and promotes a tone of kindness in the manner in which students in her class treat each other. I saw all of this firsthand last week when I was a guest teacher to start the day in Lynn's class while she interviewed with the Teacher of the Year committee. When a teacher is gone, you get a true sense of how the class is run by the way the students respond in their absence. I was amazed at how the 5- and 6-year-olds took ownership of their learning and morning routine and basically wanted me out of the way so they could independently start their day and their morning work. In speaking with some of Lynn's kindergarten students, they gleamed with excitement while sharing different reasons why they enjoy Lynn's class. Carter loves learning on the iPad. Gianna claims Lynn is kind because she gives him Skittles. Lucy's favorite part of the day is during math when she tells them how smart they are and when she gets called a smarty pants. And she also likes hearing stories about your grandson Reese. Gavin thinks kindergarten is the funnest place because Miss Mitchell reads with funny voices and she says funny words that make us laugh. She jokes about stuff with us and makes our days fun. Congratulations, Lynn, on this worthy nomination that recognizes your passion, dedication, and commitment to the students and families at Bailey Lake.
I'd like to invite Brian Adams, principal of Clarkston Elementary, up.
I'd like to also just congratulate all of the nominees. What a great honor for you guys to be up here, and you represent our district and our community very well, so congratulations to all of you. I have the pleasure tonight of speaking for two people. I am going to go ahead and start with Ms. Angela Suri. I gotta let you guys know, when I get ready to give a speech, I'm not really good at reading the words, so I like to try to come up with a theme to keep myself on track and remember what I'm doing. So my theme for Angela, all right, here you go. My theme for Angela is those who can do, those who can't teach. I bet you guys aren't thinking that's where I was going with this, right? Right? Anyone that has actually spent time in one of our schools knows how ridiculous this saying is. In fact, there's no doubt in my mind that we could take the educators in this room and put them in just about any profession and they would excel. I say just about any profession because I don't think we have an NBA team up here, but just about anything. Possibility, maybe there's some three-point shooters there. When I think of Angela, I can't help but to be reminded of how absurd that saying really is. First of all, I am confident that Angela could be successful in any job she faced. She would outwork all the other candidates. She has an extensive knowledge base and is completely curious about learning new things. If she was challenged to be a doctor or a lawyer, I wouldn't bet against her becoming anything short of extremely successful. Another thing to go along with that quote is, find a job you love and you'll never work another day in your life. As far as finding a job you love and never working another day in your life, I'm almost certain that Angela would work for free if she didn't have to provide for her two children that she loves very much, or for her children that she loves very much. She is constantly staying after, offering to help in any way, shape, or form that she can. If she can't do something, she is constantly apologizing for not being able to do that. She came to me first as a parent in our building, eventually a volunteer, worked her way up into subbing, maybe some recess aide, into a math aide, eventually doing her student teaching at Independence, and then she was a virtual teacher, and then a beginning teacher, and now a teacher leader in our building. And I'm pretty sure, Dr. Ryan, my job and your job are in her sights. Angela can do anything she wants. What Angela wants to do is positively impact the lives of children and to be a lifelong learner that inspires others to do the same. Now, those are my words, but I did ask our staff to share a few things, and so I'll go through their more eloquent words. This is from Gail Bacon. Angela has a true growth mindset. She's always looking for ways to improve her craft, and she has a positive attitude. Next, Carrie Holka says, Angela seeks out opportunities to serve students and support colleagues. She has a beautiful rapport with students and a calming demeanor that makes her approachable and respected. Lane Hurd, former CE staff member and always a dragon, said Angela is one to always ask, how can I help? She goes above and beyond what is asked to keep our kids safe and happy. From crossing guard to traffic police to recess aide, office help, and one of the best teachers I've ever seen. She connects with students, staff, and parents in a way that is kind and loving. You can tell she cares and wants to see you succeed no matter what. Angela, you could do anything that you wanted to do. I am very glad that you want to be a teacher. Thank you very much for being at Clarkston Elementary. All right, here we go. Theme for Jody Gabbard. I had to think about this one for a minute here. But the theme I came up with was, don't wait for something to be gone before you appreciate it. It's an honor for me to stand up here today to talk about Jody Gabbard. Through my 23 years working for Clarkston Community Schools, I've had the opportunity to work alongside countless educators that have inspired me, mentored me, challenged me to grow, and taught me what it means to always put kids first. Jody Gabbard is one of those educators. We talk a lot at Clarkston Elementary about our intentions. We have a saying that goes, learning for all, whatever it takes. Every time Jody makes a decision, I am confident that her intentions are to make sure that all students' needs are put first. Her own needs and wants are often sacrificed for doing what is best for children. Jody is a teacher leader that has mentored countless staff members. She constantly steps up to take on leadership roles across the school and district. Instructionally, Jody is a master. She has a way of helping students reach their full potential. When it comes to managing student behaviors, well, I'm not really sure because really no student behaviors come from Jody's class. I think a big part of that is because she keeps the kids actively engaged and she creates amazing classroom culture. Sometimes we don't really appreciate the things we have until they're gone. In the field of education, the stakes are high. I mean, what's more important than kids? We don't have the luxury to just say, we'll do better next time. For many of us in the field, this causes us to focus on areas of improvement more than celebrating our successes. Jody has always been so busy looking for ways to improve that I don't think she truly realizes what a huge impact she has made on so many people. Jody, I am so glad that we had the opportunity to recognize you tonight. For those of you that don't know, this is Jody's final year. She is going to be retiring at the end of the year. And she's one of those educators that will stick with us at Clarkston Elementary for years to come. Jody, we're all very proud of you. Congratulations.
I'd like to invite Ken Janzarek, our principal of Clarkston Virtual.
First off, thank you for all of you for being here, for Jessica's family to be here, LaFontaine, Clarkston Foundation. It's a pretty honored evening celebrating some wonderful educators, and congratulations on retirement. It's an honor and privilege to introduce Jessica Sorensen and celebrate her today for a nominee for Teacher of the Year. For 3 years now, Jessica has been a teacher at Clarkston Virtual, teaching 3rd through 5th grade. So when I introduced that to her this year, that she's going to be teaching 3rd through 5th grade, she was like, wow, that's a great opportunity, multi-age. So for those of you in terms of education, that's a big gap. She's done an absolute amazing, she didn't really say that, I'll make that up for her. What started as an opportunity for her to come over to virtual during the COVID time has really turned into something much more than that. It's turned into her to help to create something in terms of Clarkston Virtual to help students continue to grow and move forward. At one time with COVID, people moved over to Clarkston Virtual due to COVID. Now they move over to Clarkston Virtual because of amazing educators like Jessica. The things that she's created to continue to build relationships with kids and to continue to move forward. During the 3 years, Jessica has not only educated her virtual students, she's continued to build our virtual program. I truly believe Jessica is one of those amazing teachers that makes it look effortless. Even though deep down we know inside that she's there every day, late at night, creating things, working to find ways to connect and help her kids. Jessica is one of those teachers that also impacts everyone that she connects with, the parents, colleagues, administrators. Her can-do attitude combined with her genuine caring heart supports her in her teaching, and I have no doubt that her impact on students has been amazing. For over 25 years now, Jessica has been welcoming students into her classroom, both on the computer, in person, as well as virtually right now. I'm confident one day one of her students will come back, letting her know that what she's done has helped her to become, or him, to become a teacher like her 4th grade teacher did, Mrs. Hubbard. It's amazing when you have amazing educators in your life where they impact you. You can think back, and probably everyone up here can think of that one teacher Well, for Jessica, it was Mrs. Hubbard. And I asked her today, I said, what was that one thing that made you want to be a teacher because of that fourth grade experience? And her comment to me was just her high expectations, her compassion, her ability to be funny. All three things that when I think about Jessica, I can name those for her as well. That experience for Mrs. Hubbard, as well as the experience that you give your students, is absolutely amazing. Jessica also shared that her balance to become a teacher, something that she knew she wanted to do after leaving the fourth grade. Mrs. Hubbard, if Mrs. Hubbard was here today, she would be honored for you to be the teacher. She'd be amazed at what you've become. One of your colleagues recently said to you that it's amazing your ability to lift up those around you. And I'm honored here today to be able to lift up all you've done for Clarkston Community Schools and Clarkston Virtual and all of your students. Congratulations.
This is so amazing. Let's keep it going. Nate Fuller, come on up, principal of Independence Elementary.
Good afternoon. So I just want to start off by saying that it's a real honor to be up here in front of all of you. I look at the educators up on this stage, and for many of them, I have lived life with you, and it's an honor. I've taught some of your children. I've worked side by side, and I've also been able to see your greatness as an administrator, and it takes a lot to do what you do. And I look out amongst all the educators in this room, and it is a privilege to call myself an educator with you, so thank you for what you do. First off, knowing that what it is to be an educator, I'd like for Ann's family to stand, and let's give them a round of applause for everything that they do. So if you're a part of Ann's family, stand up. Thank you. I know that it takes a lot with all the work that comes home and honoring and supporting, and your mom coming up and grabbing your 4 kids, and I know that your husband loves when I have him stand in front of everyone, so it's great. And this is an honor to be able to acknowledge and talk about your greatness. I feel like it's hard to believe that 21 years ago, you and I were coming into Clarkston from Michigan State together, and seeing how we've grown and what you've become is truly amazing. But I'm going to be honest. I have this wonderful speech, but all I can think about when I see you is last night we had our talent show for Independence Elementary. And I just keep picturing you dressed as Michael Jackson, going across the stage, dancing, and that was all it took to know that you're up here.
We got the video. You want to play it?
I think she wanted to perform it. So I think that it speaks, though, to just the excitement that you bring every day, and the fact that after 21 years, you're taking up your own personal planning time to make sure you have a choreographed dance for the kids to enjoy. That's pretty special. So I will begin with your speech, though. A lot has changed over the years, but something that hasn't changed is your passion for life, and more importantly, your passion for teaching students. The ability to not only experience this as a colleague, but to see in action as a principal at Independence Elementary has given me hope, pride, and excitement to see what's next up your sleeve. You push yourself out of your comfort level. You are a leader in the school, district, and community, all while having a heart of gold. Something you have taught me, Ann, is that you are always pushing me to make things student-driven. So I'm going to take your advice and make my speech not about what I have to think, but about your fellow colleagues and how they look at you and working side by side with you. So I hope that these words radiate who you are and what you stand for. Here are a few of the thoughts from your colleagues. You're always evolving to your students' needs. You have a great sense of humor. Ann always does above and beyond in everything she does for the school. She has superpowers with her ability to help children grow their confidence as learners. She is the first one to volunteer to take on projects most people view as overwhelming. I am proud to call Anne my friend and colleague. Shows joy in every achievement, no matter how small it might be. She makes all of her students feel valued and loved. Anne is an exceptionally creative and has taken this creativity to facilitate our Peace Walk in January and our Socks Week every year. She has a charitable heart that makes her teaching special. She believes, and I love this word, she believes fiercely in teaching to all learners and works diligently to help them succeed. And this I thought was pretty funny. This colleague said, I also remember that she wore a lavender suit, and she wore it fabulously. That's pretty cool. Anne is an incredible teammate and goes out of her way to do whatever she can to help others. Anne can see the potential in every person she meets, in every situation she encounters. Anne creates or makes use of every resource to help children learn and grow. And I will support that in the fact that you're often in my office saying, Nate, just do it, which I appreciate. Anne showed grace and grit in her passion and dedication with the Tide with Love project and holds that close to her heart. Anne is the first great beacon of Independence Elementary, and it's true. Her light shines bright, guiding others and leading the way. And Anne, I'm going to leave you with this. Lastly, maybe the most profound and special words come from your daughter, Ava. She always helps everyone, no matter what happens. Ava, I'm trying to sound like you right now, okay? She always tries to make the best, even in hard times. She takes care of a lot of things at our school, like socks, hatches baby chicks, took our pictures with the bunny for spring pictures. Mom likes teaching everything. If you get an idea, she wants to keep on going, to keep it going forever. Anne, well done, Bronco. Well done.
I'd like to invite Josh LeMay, acting principal of North Sashaba Elementary.
Before I begin, this is for all of the nominees and their spouses. As the husband of a former Teacher of the Year winner, you should know that this is a big deal. Not just because you get a car, but because this title, once bestowed upon whoever wins, will follow you for the rest of your life. And to your spouses, you will be introduced as the husband's significant other, whatever title you want to choose, of the Teacher of the Year. It will change the way that people refer to you. I know this because it's been that way for 13 years for me. So, as Nancy said, I am the interim principal at North Sashaba Elementary. And before Jen Johnson, the principal, left, she gave me some words to share about Anne-Marie tonight. So here are your words of affirmation, Anne-Marie. I am thankful to be able to have the time and opportunity to share about Mrs. Anne-Marie Wilson, who currently teaches at North Sashaba Elementary. Along with other nominees, she is most certainly deserving. At NSE, we have a very special group of outstanding educators. In my brief time, I have observed that, who show up each and every day to ensure that all of our students are healthy, challenged, safe, and engaged. Our mission at NSE is to serve students, families, and each other in ways that create safety, connection, community, and the conditions necessary to be present for learning. Mrs. Wilson is a living testimony to our mission. Anne-Marie shows up every day as a positive, welcoming, open partner with our families. She recognizes her role as one of service and stewardship to our school community. Anne-Marie is available, interested, and works with effort toward the objective of making the difference in the lives of our students and their families. She's an advocate, a problem solver, and a contributor. Anne-Marie wants to be part of figuring out how to make things better. She seeks out guidance and advice when students and families may need additional support or services. I cannot express how important it is to have educators who look beyond the daily lessons of the written curriculum into the larger lessons of life that result in resilience building, support, and a step forward for families who are in need. Anne-Marie is a teacher for not only the whole child, but for the whole family. In the classroom, Mrs. Wilson understands the importance of creating safety and connection for her students. She knows that students cannot learn when they do not feel safe or understood. Anne-Marie is intentional and thoughtful about making sure that all of her students feel important, valued, and loved. Students in Mrs. Wilson's class know that their voice matters and that she cares for them deeply. She certainly possesses the talent and skill of an expert teacher. She knows how to make concepts concrete, appropriately challenging, and attainable. She understands key teaching moves and how to provide direct, explicit, and systematic instruction. However, it is her understanding of the critical importance of the relationships that she fosters in the classroom environment that she designs and nurtures that ultimately has the largest impact on making it possible for students to grow and learn. Anne-Marie recognizes that she is the decisive element in the classroom, and it is her approach that makes all the difference with understanding. And with that understanding, she pushes herself to grow, learn, reflect, try new things, and is continuously looking for ways to do better and be better for the benefit of her students and their families in her classroom. I could say a lot more about Anne-Marie. Anyone would be proud to have her on their staff, and any student and their family would be thrilled to have her as their teacher. I am just glad she is a North Sashaball Wildcat, and for that I am most thankful. Congratulations to Anne-Marie Wilson on this most deserved nomination and recognition.
I was just reminding Anne-Marie the interview when she interviewed to be a teacher. She was sitting in Japan, and it was virtual. And I think you got up in the middle of the night for our time, and it was a good interview, Anne-Marie. I'm so glad. So next, I'd like to invite Jody Yellowshan up, principal of Pine Knob Elementary.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's so exciting to see all of you, although I don't know every one of you. Oh, hey, Nori. Nori and I are friends. Okay, where was I? Although I have not worked, with all of you, I know you all by name, and that says something about who you are and where you are in the district because you're well known. So congratulations to all of you for being here today. Jody, we're going to miss you upon your retirement, but hopefully you won't be a stranger and you'll be around. I'm sure. So I am here today to celebrate Mackenzie Chilcote, and she's a kindergarten teacher at Pine Knob, also known as Miss Chili, and can often be found running around in a pigeon outfit. So I'm surprised you don't have it on today. So first, I am so excited to stand before you and speak on behalf of this exceptional Pine Knob teacher. Here today with Mackenzie is her support team, her husband, Kyron, and her mom and dad, Karen and Michael Chilcote. And as I look around the room, I see many other supporters of you, Mackenzie, out there supporting you. Mackenzie started her teaching career as a student teacher from MSU. One could easily see through the interactions with her that her future in teaching was bright, and I felt incredibly fortunate to be able to offer her a position as a kindergarten teacher for the following school year. As Mackenzie started her teaching career, I have to be honest, I remember parents trying to get their children out of her classroom using multiple reasons that she didn't have a bathroom in the classroom and other people did, and she's not an experienced teacher, and many nonsensical rationales. But fortunately for them, I held firm and I said, I am not changing the classroom. And by the end of the year, they were coming to thank me because they knew that their child had the fortunate opportunity to be with Mackenzie to start their career in school, and there were many tears that were shed that year. Silly Miss Chili, as she's often referred to, is a quirky, fun, and talented teacher. On any given day, one can find Mackenzie dressing in a silly outfit such as Pigeon, talking in many character voices, sitting on the floor with her students, and always providing a challenging yet loving environment. As her nominator stated in her nomination, Ms. Chilcote is extraordinary at thinking on her feet, capitalizing on teachable moments, most of which she sagely connects to other concepts her students are studying. Kindergarten students, as we all know, can be unpredictable at points, and yet Mackenzie definitely keeps everyone on task without breaking a sweat, thanks to her creativity, kindness, and humor. Mackenzie can magically make the complex and demanding work of educating the next generation seem easy. Yes, Mackenzie, you are truly a gifted educator who not only plays one of the most important roles in a child's life, kindergarten teacher, but one who has the ability to shape a student's view on school and their future education. Ms. Chili provides each of her students with a solid foundation which will be built upon for many years to come. So as I thought about this, and I thought about Silly Miss Chili's students and her impact, I began to wonder, what would her students from last year say about her? What do they remember about Silly Miss Chili? And here's what they shared with me. Duke, she was really good at telling jokes. Zoe, she was nice. Easton, she is funny and she wears a pigeon costume. Emmeline, she's funny. Kayer, she was nice, funny, but sometimes she was kind of serious. Sawyer said she was funny, nice, and a very good teacher. Rosie thought that Miss Silly Chili is funny, and she was excited to be in her classroom. Alina said she's a good friend to other people, and Briggs thought that she would really help to shape them as they began to learn, and Margaret liked to learn from her. Then I began to wonder, what about those first year kindergarten students who are now in 5th grade? What would they say? So when I went into the one classroom and said, who had Miss Chilcote? Many hands eagerly waved in the air, and they wanted their opportunity to speak on behalf of Miss Chilcote. She played lots of games, and we were able to take Piggy and Elephant home with Clifford. She is so kind. I also remember when we were watching Polar Express, she kept walking around punching our tickets as we sat in our big boxes that we made for a train. That was Aaliyah. I could not get her to stop talking. Peyton said she has a kind personality and made us all laugh. Mayella was thinking about how she remembers the kitchen area really wasn't a kitchen area because it always changed. One day it was Target. During Christmas it became Santa's workshop. It would magically become all different kinds of things besides a kitchen. And Aubrey remembers that you started the Q&U wedding and that you always went above and beyond looking for smiles. So finally, a current colleague and a parent of these students couldn't help but chime in because I was in her co-curricular class, and 3 of her children were in the classroom. And she often talks about how she remembers the creativity that Mackenzie would bring to the classroom during free choice, and she would ask parents to send in boxes and different cardboard things, and she began the engineering of the future with our kids, and she shared about how she would send home, or Ms. Chilcote would send home all these creative boxes that became like small cities and cars and just anything that came out of this. And so they would end up miraculously at these parents' homes, and then they would share them with the other ones because often there were multiple kids working on them. But that is a memory she remembers, and she feels that you have instilled this creativity and positivity and future engineers of America through being in your classroom. So Mackenzie is absolutely one of a kind with her positive attitude, zest for life and learning. She is a perfect example of what a teacher should be in the life of a child. Thank you, Mackenzie.
I'd like to invite Mr. Matt Gifford, principal of Springfield Plains Elementary.
Good evening. Thank you to our Springfield Plains Elementary families for being here this evening and in support of our teachers on a daily basis. And thank you to the Springfield Plains staff in the building supporting your colleagues. Miss Melissa Chamberlain, kindergarten teacher at Springfield Plains Elementary, is here in attendance with her parents, Dan and Sean, and her sister, Ashley. Welcome. I'm honored to speak on behalf of Ms. Chamberlain, a Clarkston High School alumni. In late August of 2018, our Board of Education granted myself and our kindergarten staff an additional kindergarten section at Springfield Plains. Usually in August, an educator of Ms. Chamberlain's caliber is no longer available, but there she was, and we brought her back to Clarkston from the west side of the state, and she's been a difference maker in Clarkston ever since. Our mission at Springfield Plains is simple: love, learn, lead. Ms. Chamberlain exemplifies all three of those components in all that she does. She is a master teacher far beyond her years in the classroom. Ms. Chamberlain loves kids. She has an awesome rapport with her students, and the compassion for children she educates is second to none. Ms. Chamberlain has an innate ability to connect and understand her students and their families. This gift is particularly important when establishing relationships early on in the school year to foster immediate success for her students. Ms. Chamberlain learns with kids. She strives to meet each individual child's needs on a daily basis. She sets high expectations for students and masterfully guides each child toward achievement. She goes above and beyond to purposely reach out and set children up for positive experiences, and then she uses the feeling of success to build each child up. Ms. Chamberlain leads. She is a behind-the-scenes kind of educator. She embraces the whole child and promotes social growth. She sets up guides and plans for children. She nurtures and she challenges. She does the little things and takes the extra moments. She holds hands. She sees each of her children off at the end of the day out front of the school, and then she mentors our upper elementary girls and the Girls on the Run running club. Yes, Ms. Chamberlain is a difference maker. Much of what Ms. Chamberlain does for her students will go unnoticed. There are no accolades. The award for Ms. Chamberlain is knowing that she made a difference in each of her students' lives and that they each felt cared for. She keeps it simple. She loves kids, she learns with them, and she is an unsung leader. Miss Melissa Chamberlain is a tremendous gift to our community in Springfield Plains, and I am honored to serve alongside such a talented educator and extremely proud to present this statement on behalf of Miss Melissa Chamberlain for the Clarkston Foundation Teacher of the Year Award. Congratulations, Melissa. Mrs. Heidi Kroll is a fifth grade teacher at Springfield Plains and is joined today by her husband Bill and her three sons, Chase, Brighton, and Grant. Mrs. Kroll is a maverick. Mavericks are visionaries who want to achieve what's never been achieved before. They're not fans of the status quo and will shake things up. Mavericks tend to be innovative, influential, daring, and direct, with a remarkably high tolerance for taking chances. Now, I want to be clear, Mrs. Kroll is no Pete Mitchell. She does not fly billion-dollar military planes, and she doesn't deliberately disobey orders. Rather, what she does is priceless. She inspires Clarkston's finest treasure, our family's most valuable gifts to the world, children. Mrs. Kroll took a chance last summer and asked to engage in her own mathematical learning by taking a summer course to enhance her classroom instructional practices. From this course and her past educational experiences, she began to rethink her classroom and instructional practices across all content areas. Mrs. Kroll defronted the classroom, hugged vertical thinking spaces or whiteboards around the room for students to collaborate, and she fine-tuned her already remarkable instructional delivery. This vision was influential with the rest of the teachers as we began a district-wide book study that related directly to what Mrs. Kroll had already learned. That's not really what sets Mrs. Kroll apart, though, or makes her a maverick. That was just her runway to take flight for the year. It's the impact that these classroom and instructional practices had on our students. Students are highly engaged, dig below the surface, and question. They are curious and respectfully take part in discourse, seeking to understand one another. Mrs. Kroll's classroom is a unique place. It is innovative, yes, but the environment is fun, lively, and busy. Learning takes place in all shapes and sizes: sitting, standing, building, writing, project-based, and through service. Mrs. Kroll is direct and sets high expectations, holding kids accountable both academically and behaviorally. She is highly respected by her students, and they will tell you, Kroll is cool until you break a rule. Her students refer to themselves as Kroll's kids, and who better to share with you that Mrs. Kroll is a maverick than those who spend the most time with her. Mrs. Kroll is a maverick because she is always thinking outside of the box with how she teaches. She has this really impressive way of teaching math where we all go to the boards and work together as a group or figure out difficult math equations. Mrs. Kroll has an amazing classroom management. That is one of the reasons that she is one of my favorite teachers. She has this way of getting everyone to be quiet. I think it's her superpower that she has. I also love that she's so honest. One of my favorite things about her is that she taught us to always take risks in class. I am now never afraid to share my answer in class because of her. Mrs. Kroll goes above and beyond in everything she does. She tries to make every subject we do fun, and she teaches in a very different way from most teachers. We go to boards and we work in groups and not by ourselves. She is nice, but she knows when to lay down the hammer. Mrs. Kroll is good at showing us what the right thing to do is. She is fair and kind. Mrs. Kroll cares for all of her students the same. She makes me feel stress-free. Mrs. Kroll always makes sure that we treat each other with kindness and not only welcome other people, but make them a part of our classroom family. Mrs. Kroll doesn't teach from a book, she teaches from her heart. She is always respectful to every person she comes across. Also, it is important to note that pickles and popsicles are a fan favorite of her class. At the end of the day, this speech, a formal recognition, and words from her students can't really describe the inspiration, positive relationships, and student growth that transpires annually over the course of a school year in Mrs. Kroll's classroom. She's just a maverick, changing education and growing one student at a time. Congratulations, Mrs. Kroll.
Wow. I think, Heidi, next year we need like a box of tissues at every single table and maybe up front. I mean, just what an incredible group we have here today. When you sit back and listen to all the inspiring words from these principals, what makes these educators unique and special, you can't just help but be in absolute awe in everything. I think when we did this for secondary, for middle school, junior high, Renaissance high school, we capped the principals to like 2 or 3 minutes, but there was like no capping anything that was said today from these principals. We let them free reign, say as much as they possibly could, as well as the students and former students that you all had. So literally you all are winning the hearts and minds of our kids every single day, and I am just amazed at what you all do. At this time, I would like to invite up Paul Jordan from the LaFontaine Automotive Group, as well as our school board member, Amanda Love, for a couple words on behalf of LaFontaine and the school board. You guys want to come on up?
Neither of us are prepared for a speech, so why don't we just give this a whirl? You good?
All right. Well, I'm not going to be announcing the winner, but after the fact, on behalf, I'm actually not speaking for the school board. I'm speaking on behalf of Senator Jim Runstead and Representative Mike Harris. As we all know, there's nothing more important to this great state than teachers and educating our youth. We couldn't be a successful state without that. So we really just want to commemorate your accomplishment in this special State of Michigan official tribute from, like I said, State Representative Mike Harris and Jim Runstead. So I'm not going to give it yet, but after you receive, it's not as good as a car, but after that, I'll hand this to you when you're on your way out. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Good. What an awesome night. This is so fun. I'm like nervous for you, and I'm not winning a car, right, with a heated steering wheel. I can tell you this, all of the adjectives that have been used tonight to describe each and every one of you, in my mind, there's one word that keeps just jumping out at me, and it's leadership. And leadership is so tough. It is one of the most challenging jobs there are. There's managers and then there's leaders. And in each and every one of you women up here are true leaders. I believe you could play in the NBA, okay? That being said, heart, passion, grit, integrity, I can keep going, is so parallel with the LaFontaine Automotive Group. And I'm not here to talk about that because what a special night. but it's just the parallels are so crazy. That's what it takes. That's what it takes to win. That's what it takes to lead, is all of those adjectives they're using about each and every one of you. The LaFontaine mission statement is to build lifelong relationships that connect families, strengthen communities, and personalize the automotive experience. That's exactly what you do, but personalizing the teaching experience. And what a neat night. I haven't stopped smiling since I pulled in here. I'm not kidding. Just parking the cars on the curb, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to meet the winner. So this is just so fun. Thank you so much for having us here. I will end on this. I asked my daughter about 4 years ago now, I said, what is it, baby girl, that you want to do in your life? What are you going to do? What is your career dreams? And she said, Dad, I just want to be the biggest difference maker I can throughout my entire life. And I said, surgeon? I'm like quizzing her. She said, no, Dad, I want to be an elementary education teacher. So she's currently in her sophomore year at Michigan State. I know a couple of you maybe were at Michigan State. And it touches me to sit here and get to listen to all this. So I'll shut up because we got a winner coming. Thank you for having the LaFontaine Automotive Group here. Thank you.
Now we'd like to take a moment and provide a gift and certificate for every nominee. And so I'd like to call your name, the grade level you teach, and the school, and I'd like you to come up and receive, again, this very generous gift from LaFontaine. Let's start with Mary DeVito, second grade, Andersonville Elementary. Heidi Brown, fifth grade, Bailey Lake Elementary. Lynn Mitchell, kindergarten, Bailey Lake Elementary. Caitlin Witt, first grade, Bailey Lake Elementary. Jody Gabbard, first grade, Clarkston Elementary. Angela Surrey, third grade, Clarkston Elementary. Jessica Sorensen, third through fifth grade, Clarkston Virtual. Kathleen Kessman, Pre-K, Early Childhood Center. Ann Duffy, first grade, Independence Elementary. Andrea Duhame, kindergarten, Independence Elementary. Anne Marie Wilson, second grade, North Sashaba Elementary. Silly Chili. Mackenzie Chilcote, kindergarten, Pine Knob Elementary. Kristen Dayton, first grade, Pine Knob Elementary. Melissa Chamberlain, kindergarten, Springfield Plains Elementary. Heidi Kroll, fifth grade, Springfield Plains Elementary. Kristen Warner, fifth grade, Springfield Plains Elementary. Congratulations once again to all our nominees.
So again, I want to just thank the Clarkston Foundation and LaFontaine. You know, the generous gift. The Clarkston Foundation gave every one of our nominees a $100 check. Our finalists a check for $250. LaFontaine went above and beyond, as they always do, and gave every single one of our nominees and finalists a check for $200 there and there. And our winner, a $500 check for a grant for their school, too. And the foundation also chipped in $1,000 for our winner to help with insurance costs. I'm sure those beautiful vehicles out there, the insurance is probably not cheap on them, but they're awesome. But now on to the Teacher of the Year. This year's Teacher of the Year is a giver in her classroom and her community. She's an innovator in the classroom and does what she can to make her class feel at home for her young ones. Since the age of 4 years old, she knew this was her passion, her purpose. She's been nominated for Teacher of the Year 3 times now, volunteers within the district and the community, and the committee board couldn't have been more impressed by her in the time that we had together. It's my distinct privilege to announce the 2023 Clarkston Foundation Teacher of the Year, call sign Maverick, to Miss Heidi Kroll from Springfield Plains Elementary. Congratulations. So well deserved. So now we got to put you in front of everybody to say a few words to your peers.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Clarkston Foundation, for this nominee and LaFontaine. This is so amazing. I got to tell you, my parents couldn't make it tonight, and they would be so proud of me. I grew up in a very small town up north, and I graduated with 30 kids, K-12 building, and my mom and dad, when I told them that I was nominated once again for this award, they said, you know what, Heidi, if you make it, if you win, we're taking a picture of you with that car and it's going in the local newspaper. And so I am so happy to be able to call them tonight because this is more for my parents than for me. My parents will be on cloud 9 and it's bragging rights for them, so I'm very grateful. I want to thank my family, my husband, Bill, who really pushed me and supported me through my college years and always believed in me and helped me out with math and different things that were difficult for me. And I really can't tell you enough thanks for all your support. And to my 3 boys who are sitting here probably bored out of their mind, but thank you, Brighton, Grant, and Chase. I love you guys. Also, too, I'd like to thank my principal, Mr. Gifford. Matt, your speech was very awesome this evening, so thank you so much. And then also to my colleagues, Heather Smith and Miss Kristen Warner, who have always been by my side throughout the last few years. And then the Kroll kids that are standing around, wave, guys. Thank you for coming out tonight and supporting me. And thank you to Nancy Mahoney, who was a great principal to me. And my first person that really inspired me was Mr. Turner. He was my student, when I student taught independence, he told me something that has always stuck with me. He said, Heidi, when you become a teacher, there's one thing that matters most, And it's that kid that walks in your room. That is the best gift that parent has to offer. And never forget that at parent-teacher conferences or when you need to have a difficult conversation, that is their very shining best. And I always try to think of that every time I have to have a difficult conversation with a parent about their child, or anytime I get to tell them great things about their children. So Mr. Turner was a really amazing person, and then Casey Lay, who hired me, Mrs. Mahoney, and then Matt Gifford, who see the best in me as a leader. So I want to thank everybody that's ever touched me. And lastly, I knew I wanted to become a teacher when I was 4 years old because of my kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Heath. I was very young for my age when I went to school. My birthday's in October, so I was still 4. And she taught me everything about what it meant to have a passion and a love for learning. And she introduced me to books, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. She told me about a public library, which my parents didn't take me to as a young kid. And from that day on, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. And she's 90 years old, and she's still living up north. And she will see my picture in the paper, and she'll be so proud. So I'll be sure to that my parents mention that. So thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, that concludes the event, so thank you all for being here and sharing in this moment with these incredible educators. If the Kroll kids haven't eaten all the snacks and hors d'oeuvres back there, please help yourself to some refreshments on your way out. Thank you, everyone, for being here.